Buenos días, maestros.
Buenos días.
Desde la Dirección de Educación Secundaria les estamos dando la bienvenida a esta primera asesoría para presidentes de Academia de Zona. En nombre del maestro Ezequiel Rodríguez Calderón, director de Educación Secundaria, les saludamos cordialmente, esperando que esta asesoría fructifique para todos. Es importante en este momento comunicarles que el Departamento Técnico de Educación Secundaria desarrolla el procedimiento curricular técnico pedagógico y al desarrollar este procedimiento se desarrollan una serie de actividades técnico-pedagógicas y básicamente nos encargamos de dar asesoría a todos los docentes en las diferentes asignaturas. En esta ocasión nos toca la asignatura de inglés y la asignatura de español. Quiero comentarles que la temática que se va a desarrollar es propia a la asignatura de inglés. Y precisamente a todos ustedes que son los presidentes de Academia de Inglés, les reconozco su trabajo con los alumnos. Y desde acá, desde los espacios de la dirección, les damos una felicitación. Sabemos, conocemos y nos damos cuenta de las diferentes problemáticas que enfrentan. Sin embargo, toda su creatividad, toda su vocación docente la ponen de manifiesto para darle a nuestros adolescentes el mejor servicio educativo posible. Agradecemos a los supervisores, a los directivos de las escuelas, su gran participación y su disposición para darles el tiempo específico para su preparación. En este momento tenemos conectados 172 presidentes de academia. Nos faltan los presidentes de academia seguramente de algunas escuelas que aún, o de algunos hogares que aún no enfrentan alguna problemática para conectarse. Dentro de la temática que vamos a abordar hoy, y todas las academias, se encuentra lo relacionado con el programa de la asignatura, con las estrategias para abordar los contenidos, con la planeación, la evaluación, y con esos aspectos importantes que ustedes desarrollan en su práctica docente diaria. Les quiero comentar que estaremos de hoy 13 de septiembre hasta el día 23 de septiembre diariamente con la programación de asesorías para que ustedes como presidentes de academia conozcan que hoy solamente será inglés, español, pero mañana serán otras dos asignaturas para que las tengan presentes: biología y física. El miércoles estará química e historia. El jueves, el miércoles. El viernes estará geografía y formación cívica y ética. Y así sucesivamente estaremos cada día con los diferentes presidentes de academia. Sabemos que algunos de ustedes están en sus escuelas y desde ahí se están conectando. Saludos a los directivos en este caso, pero sabemos que otros están desde sus hogares conectándose. Conocemos las dificultades, ¿verdad?, que enfrentan en ese sentido. Pues no me queda más que decirles que en esta mañana en la Academia de Inglés participarán la maestra Esther Noemí Medellín Guerrero, la maestra Silvia Ernestina Chávez Palacios, el maestro Héctor Villegas Jiménez y la maestra Bertalicia Guerrero Sáenz. Son los 4 maestros que se encuentran integrados en la Academia de Inglés, presidentes de Academia de Zona o asesores, docentes, profesores de asesoría. No me queda más que decirles que la vocación del docente se proyecta a lo largo y a lo ancho del universo, fíjense, del universo, porque su palabra es palabra de conocimiento y es palabra de vida. Les doy la bienvenida a esta primera etapa de asesoría a presidentes de Academia de Zona y se queda con ustedes el maestro Héctor Villegas Jiménez, quien será el primer expositor en esta asesoría para presidentes de Academia de Zona. Maestro Villegas, antes que nada les voy a pedir a todos que apaguen sus micrófonos y enciendan su cámara, porque la interferencia de los sonidos es difícil. Que apaguen todos sus micrófonos, por favor, y enciendan todas sus cámaras. Muchísimas gracias y bienvenidos. Maestro Villegas. Ya está. Hable, maestro.
Okay, here we go. Just a moment. Okay. Good morning. How are you? I hope. Okay.
Fine.
Sorry. Again, how are you doing? I hope you are doing great. This is Héctor Villegas Jiménez. On behalf of the Technical Department of Secondary Education of the State of Nuevo León, I want to give you the warmest welcome to this first meeting for Presidents of the English Academy. The main purposes of this meeting are to share some proposals to carry out the contents of the first quarter and to walk you through the didactic tutorial guides, the English bits, and the project called English is Fun. Our meeting agenda includes 2 main topics: a walkthrough of the first term contents for all school grades, and through the complementary materials produced by the Technical Department of English. So, if you wish, enjoy a cup of coffee or tea while we go through these topics. To get started, let's check where we are at this moment in relation to the current school calendar for the state of Nuevo León. Today is Monday, September the 13th. So we have just finished with the important stage of diagnostic assessment of our students. The diagnostic assessment is a short-term process of successive structure and interrelated actions, which, through the application of relevant techniques, provides the student learning information. and whose final objective is to suggest guidelines which imply the adequacy of the teaching learning process. This better understanding of the student learning status helps us to find solutions to face the challenges that the development of the curricular contents implies. After the analysis of the student's learning information, we can prepare the attention plan and plan the curricular contents corresponding to this first term. Diagnostic assessment plays an important role in how we identify and understand learning needs. Diagnostic assessment directly guides academic, curricular, and instructional decisions because there is a better understanding of what a student does or doesn't know in relation to specific learning goals. Diagnostic assessment is intended to identify what students know and can do in different domains. It may help us determine what students understand in order to build on the students' strengths and address their specific needs. And of course, guide curriculum planning and teaching in a more specific way. Bear in mind that the plan for the extraordinary recovery period begins today and ends on November 23rd of this school year. This attention plan must include activities aimed at all students, especially those students who are at risk of dropping out of school or not learning the contents of the school year that begins. Those who have intermittent or non-existent levels of communication and participation in the 2020-2021 school year. Its main objective is to reinforce fundamental learning not yet mastered from the previous school year. But what are the fundamental learnings? They are those whose domain is considered essential to access new content. They are related to the development of basic intellectual skills: reading, writing, selecting, and using information. In the current study planning programs, it's established what is considered priority. However, the teacher and the school also have a fundamental role in deciding what is priority. Before talking about planning the curricular contents for this quarter, let us remember an important feature of our study program Aprendizajes Clave para la Educación Integral 2017. It should be noted that unlike previous study programs that were organized by monthly blocks, this plan gives the teacher ample freedom to plan their classes by organizing the contents as it suits them best. No expected learning outcome is linked to a particular moment of the school year. Its nature is annual. It's intended that at the end of the school year, each student has achieved the expected learning outcomes, but the strategies to achieve it can be diverse. This means that we can decide how many and which social practices of the language to develop in each quarter. Our proposal for this first quarter is as follows. one social practice of the language of each social learning environment and their corresponding achievements. So our proposal for this first quarter is to carry out 3 social practices of the language. Those are exchange opinions about a community service, read classic tales, and write instructions to use a bilingual dictionary. For the first social practice of language we propose to develop in this first quarter, it has 3 achievements, and those are listen to and review dialogues about community services, understand the general sense and main ideas, and exchange information about community services. For assessment of this social practice of language, we have the following evaluation suggestions. Collect evidence like a table with information about a community service, a list of questions and answers to request and offer information, the final product that is a role play. The suggested instrument to assess this evidence is a rubric. The second social practice of language we propose to carry out in this first quarter is read classic tales with 5 achievements, and those are select and review classic tales, understand the general sense and main ideas of classic tales, compare variants in pronunciation and writing, express key events orally, and rewrites key events. For assessment of this social practice of language, we have the following evaluation suggestions. Collect evidence like a list with key moments of the story, a dialogue about the understanding of the story, rewriting of sentences, and the final product is a big storybook. The suggested instrument to assess this evidence is a descriptive rating scale. The last social practice of the language we propose to carry out in this first quarter is write instructions to use a bilingual dictionary with the following achievements. Select and review bilingual dictionaries, understand the use of textual components of bilingual dictionaries, write instructions, and edit instructions. The assessment for this social practice of language give us the following evaluation suggestions. Collect evidence like a table with classified words, sentences, and the final product is instructions to use a bilingual dictionary. The suggested instrument to assess this evidence is a questionnaire. Okay. Point. I think it's necessary to answer a question that many of you are probably asking yourself. How can we develop the attention plan and at the same time develop the curricular contents for this first quarter? The answer is not easy, and it's as follows. The fundamental learning content that we must reinforce because they weren't achieved by students. With the new content to be developed in this first term must be linked whenever possible. In other words, we must consider the fundamental learnings as necessary background to achieve the new content. When this is not possible, we can assign a specific time for development. Okay, now let's talk about some resources. To mention some of the many resources we can use to carry out the attention plan and the contents of this first quarter, I will list the student textbook in first place, the Escuela TV program, the proposal for the distribution of the social practices of the language for this school year, the didactic tutorial guides, the activities included in the project English is Fun, or the video bits or video capsules. Most of these resources are available in the Redice English Facebook page in the Files section. To end this part, I will say some considerations you might take into account. Avoid stress. Take care of yourself because you are important and your work is highly valuable. Be creative. This way, your students will be engaged in your learning activities proposals and have fun. People rarely succeed unless they are having fun in what they are doing. Thank you very much. And now I'm sending over to Ms. Chavez. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here sharing second grade English topics. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Chavez, and I will be here sharing second topics of secondary school. Good morning again, everybody. Second grade, secondary school, first academic meeting. First of all, we have to pure learning and icebreaker with your students. Every morning they say, what kind of, I'm glad to see you. It's a pleasure to be here to the network. In this morning, with your students, you have to say how are you? Good morning. How do you feel? To your student, how do they feel? To pure learning icebreaker, you can say to your students, what are you doing? Are you playing Scrabble, table games, bingo, numbers, snake and letters? What leisure activities they are doing in home in your free times? Okay, let's begin. Curriculum dosage proposal by time of assignment English second grade. This school year is 2021-2022. The teachers know what are the aprendizajes claves for the education in second grade. Okay, now I will I will explain to you what the proposals of dosage in second grade. Remember that you can change, depend of the diagnostic that you have reported with your students. You can move the expected learner, you can move. Okay, in this diagram represents the proposals suggestion to one period, the one period of this year, 2022. Evaluation moment, the first period, family and community, ludic and literary, academic and training. In the other column, we have social practice of the language, where the topics express support and solidarity in the face of the daily problem. Other topic is read plays. Another topic is produce instruction at risk. In the other column, we have expected learner. The student have to express reason for your interest in a problem. At the final column, you have to collect the final product. One of the topic is the expected learning is PCA, public service announcement. There is a lot of material of this PCA topic, but be careful with your selection, since many advertisements organizations have a strong content like a drug, sexuality, strong topics in those early stage of adolescence. Be careful. Be careful with this topic. In the expected learning in this column, the program marks learning correlated with this topic. In the second period, the same diagram represents the proposal of these two periods. Environment, social practice of the language, expected learning, and a final product. I'm sorry. Okay, what are the topics in this second period? Comparison chart, monologues, infographic, and autobiographical. Okay, in the second period. In the third period, it's the same scheme. We say third period, environment, social practice of the language, expected learner, and final product. In the third period, you students have to learn complaints, comparison charts, roundel table, and roundel table. In the expected column, in the expected learning column, that program marks learning correlated with each topic. I suggest the English teacher knows all the programs, like first grade, second grade, and third grade. Because if you know the programs, all the programs, first grade, second grade, and third grade, you have a map, a conceptual map of all the program, that how your student expect their learning in the secondary school. That's what I suggest. You have to know all the program, English program, 1 grade, second grade, and third grade. Okay, let's begin in this first period. In this first period, one of the expected learning is achievement, express reason of interest in a problem. In this diagram, we have environment, family and community, social practice of the language, express support and solidarity in the face of the daily problem. Achievement. Express reason of interest in a problem. What the final product is public service announcements PCA. The concept of the spectrum learning is a public service announcement PCA is a message in the public interest disseminated without charge, with the objective of raising awareness of and changing public attitude and behavior towards a social issue. We can ask our students to do a list of everyday problems. Could be personal, familiar, school, society, environment, what problems they have. Could be obesity. Ask your students if they have been offended at school, for friends, in the family, for being chubby. What other problems do your students have? The bullying. Ask to your student if they have been bullied. Have felt bullying. Another daily problem is violence at home, and the rates increases in confinement, which generates a lot of stress in the family. Violence, depression. What depression is? Depression is a mental illness or disorder characterized by a lot of sadness, low mood, low self-esteem, loss of interest in everything. You should go to the health professional. How do they feel in these everyday problems that your students have? Okay, what solution we have? What solution we have? What can we do to help to resolve this kind of problems in the everyday? Solution for the obesity problems. Eat healthy, do exercise. What sport you can practice to eliminate the obesity? Swimming, soccer, basketball, football, running, other kind of sports. Balanced diet, vegetables, protein, fruits. Seek a professional. Help is a professional if necessary. Remember. Practice, okay, activities to eradicate bullying. I recommended you practice of a human virtues. Practice of a human virtues. Tolerance, discipline, patience, prudence, gratitude, solidarity, self-control, abnegation, respect, responsibility, modesty, happiness, generosity, empathy, collaboration. There is a lot of human virtues that you can recommend it to your student. Evaluation instrument. In the evaluation instrument, you can here is an example of evaluation. You have flexibility to prepare your own evaluation. A specific problem, action to solve the problem, decide what kind of people that can do to propose action. This is a small evaluation. This is other kind of evaluation, I suggest the rubric. This page suggests a rubric to evaluate. This is a recommendation. Another topic, the writing rubric, speaking rubric. What kind of aspect you can evaluate in the speaking rubric? Grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, interaction, etc. Okay. Recommendation or tips to the English teacher. That's important that the teacher use didactic material. Use of the dictionary, expected learning goal, a conceptual map, recognition of the student progress, teaching the 4 English language competencies: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. Assessment with a simple evaluation. Teaching by having the student learning to learn in an autodidactic, self-taught way. How? Playing, TV, watching a television, videos, movie, YouTube, listen to music, watching a video games, etc. Teaching English. Methodology, teaching English and audio lingual, communicate, natural approach. What technique you can use when are you teaching English? Dialogue, dramatization, reading text, writing and exercise dictation, teaching resources, what I said before, songs, games, ludic material, comics, table games, bingo, lottery, chess, improve vocabulary, using a dictionary, films, programs, etc. Today we have an infinite world of digital resources. There is some in example: YouTube, Google Meet, Skype, Zoom, Duolingo. There are a lot of hundreds website. We have a lot of website that I recommended in this diagram. It's similar. We have website that I recommended with a lot of material, English material. We have Aprende en Casa by the Secretariat of Education. This program by the Secretary of School. This program, the program learns at home. Okay, I'm sorry. We have Escuela TV Nuevo León. At the local level, there is the School Program TV Nuevo León. Thank you very much for your attention. This presentation and the other presentation materials will be in the platform Red Eyes. Have a nice day. Thank you very much for your attention.
Have a nice day too, Miss.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sylvia. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
It's nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Thank you
Have a
very
nice
much,
day.
teacher.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice day, everybody.
You
The
too.
same to you.
You too.
Thank you, teacher.
Good morning. It's
morning.
a pleasure to be with you all again.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
And,
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
uh,
teacher.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Well, not to see you, but anyway, it's virtually all this activity. It's a pleasure to be with you all again, even if it is virtually. Well, today we're going to talk about third grade. And remember that in third grade, we're working with the 2011 program. And right now, we're going to focus on the last two social practices of the language, which should be taught in this first term of this school year. We have three social practices of the language to work on in this first term. They are understand and express information related to goods and services. Read and understand the different types of literary texts from English-speaking countries, and understand and write instructions. Today, we're going to see the second practice of the language. We're talking about read and understand different types of literary texts from English-speaking countries. Here, the environment is literary and ludic, and the specific competency is read, suspense, literature, and describe news. And the program that we're going to, the product that we're going to have is the emotionary inventory of emotions. In this social practice of language, we're going to work with the following achievements. The first one is uses various strategies to understand narratives. For example, some strategies can be making connections, making predictions, asking questions, understanding and building vocabulary, trying to figure out the plot structure. Another achievement is infers the general meaning and main ideas. The next one is formulates and answers questions in order to infer information. Another one is writes opinions regarding news. And the last one is organizes paragraphs in order to create texts. When the teacher already knows the achievements and the social practice, he or she begins to look for grammar that the students should already know. At that moment is when the teacher can give them a quiz to find how much grammar the students remember. That grammar, of course, is related to the social practice of the language. For example, students should know about adjectives related with comparative and superlative. Remember that comparatives are used to compare two people or things, and superlatives are used for comparing one person or thing with every other member of the group. We're going to see pronouns working with reflexive and relative. Remember, reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, himself, etc. And relative pronouns are who, which, whose, etc. We're going to work the conditionals. They can be 0, first, second, or third conditional. We're going to see the homophones, for example, to and to. To is for an adverb and to as a cardinal number. The upper and lower case letters are included in this grammar activity. Remember, you can add all the grammar aspects that are required in each group. Now, here we have some examples of the language structure that you can work with your students. For example, you can tell them to use these structures to answer, complete, or write activities they have to do. We're talking about expressions like, I like mystery novels. My favorite novel is, I don't like horror books. Who is the main character? I think he or she is showing happiness. He looks sad. How does she show her feelings? Here, we have some examples for activities that students can do in this social practice of the language, like provide them with various types of literature, for example, novels, mystery, suspense, horror, romance, science fiction, classic tales, fairy tales, etc. Ask the students to identify author, illustrator, genre, etc. Provide them with an extract of a suspense novel. Have students identify the feelings they have as they read this kind of text. Ask them to write as many emotions as possible. You as the teacher can ask them to do the activities that you consider pertinent. And here we have an example of a quiz that you can work with your students. This quiz is about the emotions, and the instruction is read the story and invert the emotion of the people. It says, the people who live in the town nearby called her Bloody Mary and said she was a witch because of how she looked. Nobody was brave enough to go near her for fear of their cows or their children getting sick. And the question for the students is, people were, and the answer can be happy, confused, angry, scared. You can ask many questions like this to have a quiz for the students. Another quiz. can be related with the order of the events. The instruction is put in order the events of the story. And it says the girls saw a big rat and screamed. Letter A. There was a little girl named Holly. I. Letter I. She slowly opened the cabinet. Here the student is going to underline the correct answer. He's going to look for the order of the events. Remember that you must work with simple quizzes in such a way that the students feel confident with answering it. The last social practice of the language is this. In this first term is understand and write instructions. And the environment is literary and ludic. And the specific competency is interpret and write instructions to perform a simple experiment. And the name of the product is Set of Instructions Album. In this social practice of the language, we're going to work with the following achievements: understand and interpret, order, and sequence of instruction elements to perform an experiment. Also, writes and classifies simple and complex sentences in order to create instruction sequence. And the last achievement is removes, adds, changes, and or rearranges information to edit a set of instructions. The grammar that the students must understand or know to use in this social practice of the language is, we're going to be talking about adverbs. We're going to talk about adverbs. They can be adverbs of manner, time, place, frequency. And the verb forms like imperative, gerund, infinitive. We're going to talk about verb tenses in the simple present. Here, the teacher can work with all the tenses required. Simple present is not enough. And we're going to talk about prepositional phrases. Remember that the prepositional phrases begin with a preposition and end with a noun or pronoun. We're going to work with punctuation. Here we can talk about full stop, the comma, the colon, the semicolon, the question mark, the exclamation mark, the apostrophe. And we're going to work with homographs. Homographs are words that are spelled the same and in most instances sound the same, but which have different meaning. For example, can as a container, or can, for able. Date on a calendar or date as a companion. Left for direction or left for went. Here we have some examples of the structure of the language, which the teacher can work with his students. For example, the teacher can tell the students that they can use these structures to answer, to complete, or to write some activities that they must do. We're talking about expressions like what is the experiment about? What are the materials needed? What do the instructions say? What is the order of the instructions? Did it work well? How many steps are required? We also have some examples of activities that the students can do in this social practice of the language. For example, provide the students with instruction sheets for various science experiments, have them focus on the distribution of components, have the students read the instructions, making sure they understand the meaning, ask them to choose an experiment and check comprehension by following instructions, determine the importance of following instructions in order to have desired outcomes. Tell the students to edit their instruction album with plenty of illustrations. And now we have an example of an experiment. This experiment is about an egg that floats inside a glass of water. There's a title, then the instructions, the materials for the experiment, and finally the steps that the student has to follow, of course, using sequence adverbs. For example, we have make an egg floating in salt water, fill in the blanks. In order to complete the instructions, we have to use the words salt, glass, water, egg, and we're going to follow the order first, then, next, and finally. And we're going to complete the text. Finally, we have a diagram for the students to develop experiments. Following this, the course of the steps are, for example, name the experiment, the name of the experiment, the introduction, materials that are needed, the steps to do the experiment, the instructions, and the illustrations. Okay, we have finished for third grade. Thank you for being connected and for your attention. And now we're going to continue with Miss Esther Noemí Medellín Guerrero. Thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Teacher.
Thank you, Ms. Berta.
Thank you,
teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Thank you, teacher.
¿Qué le pasó? ¿Por qué está aquí rayado? ¿Por qué se rayó? Ya.
Alguien fue rudo e utilizó la herramienta de rayar en pantalla.
Okay, guys, morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Miss Nene.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi,
Good morning.
how are you doing?
Medellín.
How are you doing?
Good morning.
Thank you, teacher Berta.
Great. Thank you very much.
Nice to have been with you. I hope you're doing okay and that your family is well. Stay safe, be careful, take care. Hope we can someday see each other in person. Hope that the COVID decreases, the number of COVID cases decreases, so everyone can continue working in presence, seeing our students, not only virtually, but person to person, okay? I'm going to talk to you about about this. I'm going to talk to you about the GTD, which is, that's the acronym in Spanish for Guiones Didácticos Tutoriales, all right? But didactic tutorial guides, okay? We're gonna talk to you about the English bits, which is in Spanish, Cápsulas de Inglés, and the project, which is English is Fun. I'm in charge of showing you some of the important facts all of these three have for you, which are made to support you in your teaching practice, okay? Okay, so first of all, let me tell you that the GTDs, the didactic tutorial guides, were specially made focusing in the students, making the students the center of the whole process of learning, okay? So with the GTD, the students can acquire the learning achievements that are in the 2011 and the 2017 program, all right? What do the GTDs foster or favor, okay? They foster autonomy, they foster responsibility, they foster also self-management, which is essential nowadays. Okay, nowadays that we are in a distance with our students, it's necessary. It's one of the skills we have to develop in our students, self-management, organization of how are they going to organize their time to participate in all the activities from the school and to do the homework and all the activities they have to return to you, okay? So that's one. Another one, let me talk about the other sphere, which is the structure, okay? The activities, okay, the structure of these guidelines, the GTDs that you see right here, are in 4 sections. The first section is for prior knowledge. The second section is for content. On the third section, we'll see the section of applying what the content show the students.
And the fourth and final section will be the assessment part, okay? Prior knowledge. What do our students know, okay? Related to the topic, related to the social practice of the language and the achievement. The content, there we put new information for the student to learn, okay, in different ways. It's not always the same way like in a textbook, okay? Then we see the application section. In this, the student has to apply what he has learned from the second and from the first section of the GTD. And finally, a short assessment to see if they are understanding or not what they, the learning outcome, all right? Now, teachers, in this sphere of teachers from the GTD, the teacher is supposed to guide them, okay? You are supposed to guide the students when to answer the GTD, when to first see your material and then the GTD, or first the GTD and then the teacher's material, okay? You are supposed to guide them. And you have, as teachers, the responsibility to go to the socializing period. In this socializing period is where the students in the synchronous time you have with them, they can socialize what they learn from the GTDs. Afterwards, you as teachers have to give feedback. What you observe in the socializing period with the students, you have to give them feedback. If you see they're misunderstanding something, you guide them for the correct and right feedback, okay? The diagnostic, it also includes, there's the picture of the GTDs, which I show you right here, okay? These are the new ones. We had the old ones from last year, but these are the new ones. And you're gonna get a set in your school, and the students have to get a set for each one. Each student has to have one of these. One is for first grade, the other is for second grade, and the other is for third grade. They cover almost all the subjects that we have in school, almost all, not the complete subject. We have Spanish, math, physics, history, civics, and then we have English, okay? So this is for second grade. Each student in your group, in your school, has to have one of this, okay? I know that they are distributing this material right now. When you get your textbooks, they get the GTDs as well, okay? You can count on them, all right? Now, let's talk about the last sphere of the GTDs, which is the diagnostic exams. Well, at the beginning of each of these booklets, we have the assessment, the diagnostics exams. They are diagnostics exams for all the subjects that are here right here, including English, of course. So this can help you. They're about, like here in second grade, we have 25 questions for the GTD, okay, of English, for the diagnostic exams in English, okay? They are multiple choice because that's the only way we thought it was more feasible to do, all right? So that's it about the GTD. An important factor before I go on in my presentation, the QRs. We have QRs right here on the front, but at the beginning of each section of the GTD, you'll see that you will have the QR. Let me look at the English QR right here. So we have the QR here. You scan the QR with your telephone, okay? You scan the QR, and there there will be a library of resources that students can download and you as teachers can download that were made for your students, for your English students according to the grade. So you scan the QR, then it shows what the resources are, okay? And it's only at the beginning part. And the nice thing about this is that you can download the complete material, okay? If you think that it's pertinent, you can download it, all right? Now let's go to the other slide. Oh, this one. It's a short video. I'm sorry, but it's in Spanish. I'm really, 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 really sorry about the lines that the presentation has. We didn't make these lines on purpose, and it wasn't our responsibility to write these lines. I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened, but that's not the way we work, okay? That's not the way we work. We don't make these types of doodles in our presentation, okay? Because we think they are unprofessional, all right? So let us hear some video in Spanish about the GTDs. Perhaps it's another way to get to know them very well.
Maestra, si me permite, pueden quitarse las líneas si deja de compartir pantalla y vuelve a compartir la presentación, se borran las líneas.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. En el ojo. Y ahora otra vez vuelvo. Oh, thank you, teacher. You're very kind. I didn't know this was possible. I really, really thank you. All right.
También puede bloquear que los participantes que estamos viendo en la pantalla puedan rayar la presentación. Lo puede hacer en el superior.
Okay, thank you.
Está compartiendo pantalla, ahí se baja una pestañita y dice no permitir que los participantes, no es rayar, no me acuerdo cómo dice la instrucción, pero usted puede bloquear que los participantes rayen la presentación.
Okay, will do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bienvenido a la tercera edición de los guiones didácticos tutoriales para la educación secundaria. Una nueva manera de adquirir los aprendizajes esperados a través de fichas de trabajo que consisten en recuperación de conocimientos previos, contenido, aplicación, evaluación. En las asignaturas de español, matemáticas, ciencias, historia, formación cívica y ética e inglés. Al inicio de cada asignatura encontrarás un código QR, el cual te llevará a una biblioteca virtual que cuenta con materiales didácticos complementarios que te serán de mucha utilidad. Esta edición cuenta con un anexo de evaluación diagnóstica que te permitirá conocer tus fortalezas y tus debilidades, así como hacer un repaso y reforzamiento de algunos de los aprendizajes adquiridos durante el grado escolar anterior. Secretaría de Educación en el Estado de Nuevo León.
I'm sorry, I was silenced. I think you can use the GTDs also like in the attention plan where you have to review with your students about last year. So if I have here my GTD for second grade, okay, I can use it in third grade to review the material the students got or didn't get in second grade. And if I have like the second, okay, if I'm in second, I'm a second grade teacher, I can use the GTDs also with my students in the attention plan you are working with. You can use this, not only on the grade it is for, but also for the attention plan, all right? Sí, I already told them about the QR and the. Ah, okay. Okay. Oh, yes. They're telling me right now something I really forgot. It's about the GTD for the teacher. So this is the GTD for the student. And then there's a GTD for the teacher, which is thinner than this one. And in that, you have, in the QRs, you have also the program. They have two QRs, okay? And you have the program besides this one and the activity book, ludic activity books that we have in English, the program. There's a test for different learning styles and the instructional guide, all right? Now let's go on to another one. Thank you, Mr. Martin, Mr. Fries, for telling me. Mr. Frias, I'm sorry. Okay, now let's go on to the other one. Now, wait a minute. Okay, now we're going to talk about the English bits. I call this the English bits because it's only a chunk of English that our students are going to be able to hear. And you should know them in Redais with, as the name as cápsulas de inglés, okay? We have cápsulas de inglés in Spanish, in formación cívica y ética, history, etc. But in English, we call them English bits, okay? And what are the English bits? Tell me, teacher. I haven't been to Redais and I don't know what are they and how are we going to work with them, okay? First of all, let me tell you what they are, okay? They are voice PowerPoint presentations or video clips. Some of us made them in a video clip. Some of us use a platform, in this case, Powtoons, to make the short English bits. The length of the bits are 5 to 8 minutes long, okay? At the beginning of the PowerPoint presentation and the video clips, there will be the learning outcomes, the achievements to reach. We also mentioned the social practice of the language, okay? Which is intended for that particular video clip, for that particular English bit. And there are endless possibilities for this. Let me tell you some, but you as teachers, with all your creativity and all the knowledge that you have of teaching English, okay, you can make new ones that I've never thought of, okay? So one of the possibilities is to use these English bits before the class in the asynchronous time, okay? So they can see them. And then when you are in a synchronous way, okay, talk about what you saw in that English bit, okay? That's one possibility, all right? So they have information to share with you, and that can engage our students and participate in English, all right? Another thing that, another possibility for this is first you start your class normal, ¿verdad? You do your presentation, you talk to them, you give them activities, and perhaps at the middle part of the class, you can put in a synchronous way, the English bit. That's another way to do it. Another third possibility will be to use it when you finish all the topic, when you covered all the topic of the social practice of the language or the learning outcome, at the very, very end, you give them or you show them synchronous or asynchronous, the English bit. Can you imagine? Those are three possibilities, but you can create and you can think of many other more, okay? These are just one example. Let me show you some samples of these video clips, these English bits. We already put some on Redais Inglés, okay? But they are not the whole package we have to offer. We're gonna offer them, after we end this presentation, we're gonna put them in English Redais so you can download them and start using them. I just share with you 8, but there are more than, I think like 20 or more English bits for you to use, okay? Let me show you some of the samples we have right here. Okay, let's see. This is from Powtoons, okay? And this is Mission Impossible Powtoon. In the dice I have, for the Powtoons, I have a Word file. And in that Word file, I put the social practice of the language, the learning outcome, and then I refer you to what Powtoon. I give you the link for the Powtoon, okay? Let's see, this one, this is a Mission Impossible. There we go. I put my eye so they can scan it.
Excellent.
So you think this will encourage, like with the music and put the tone for the students
Excellent.
to start engaging? Yeah, I want to participate in this Mission Impossible.
Interesting for the excellent option.
Very
The
good.
students
ma'am.
will love it.
All right. Let me see, there we go. Now we do escape, another escape. And
Is that something you can edit, you know, for your own lesson, or is that something that's already
oh yeah, you can make one on your own. And I think there's a new, if you contact me through the Powtoons, now they are letting us share the same file so you can edit.
Okay.
A few months ago, that wasn't possible, but I created this, I created the PSA, that's for second grade, last week, I think, and I saw that there was this new possibility in the platform. So I think it's great, okay, I think it's great. Let me put you another Powtoon, and this is for community service. that's the other one we prepared for you about community service, which is the first social practice of the language for first grade. Okay.
Very original.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let me put you, well, those were made with the Powtoon platform. Now, let me show you, Hector made this video clip for human body systems, okay? Let me show you to see, so you can see the in graphs, the different types of tones that are said, because Powtoon's wasn't audible. It was only with music and short expressions. And I think those expressions can be understood by your students with the level of English they have. And then let's see Hector's video. Hector's video, granted. Having problems with Hector's video. Let me do it again. I don't know why. Bear with me a minute, okay? Let me put another and then. Okay. Oh, this is from third grade from Miss Berta. Okay, she did this about understand and express information related to goods and services. Achievement, establish the motive or reason for a complaint.
English, third grade. Now, we're going to talk about the social practice of the language. Understand and express information related to goods and services. And the achievement is establish the motive or reason for a complaint. English, third grade. Do you know or remember what a complaint is? Well, a complaint is a statement about something you're unhappy or upset about. It is important for you to pay attention and follow the next steps to elaborate a complaint. The first step is a greeting. For example, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is important for you. After that, you have to say an introduction or a reason for calling. For example, my name is Monica. I am a relative of one of your patients. My father was in your hospital and I would like to speak with your supervisor. Then you have to express what your complaint is about. Like, I have a complaint to make. The doctor gave me a bad prescription. The cleaning service is terrible. The nurses are not very friendly. Then you have to express what your complaint is about. Like, also, the complaint has to have a conclusion, or we can say a solution for the problem. For example, we can say, to solve the problem, I want my full refund. I want an explanation or an apology. I think you should talk to her or him about the attitude problem. And finally, we need a closing statement. It can be, please contact me by phone. My telephone number is. I look forward to hearing from you to resolve the problem. Thank you for your time and I appreciate your apology.
So, as you have already seen, our students and we as teachers with this, even with the PowerPoint, even with the PowerPoint presentation with Audible, our students can pause and review and see it again. Wait a minute, I didn't understand this. Let me put it again. Let me put it on play again. All right. So that's another possibility we have with this material, that they can see it and listen to it as many times as they need. That's one of the important things that we have with this kind of material. This is the PSA. This is for 2nd grade. This is another one. And that was another one about Powtoon for 2nd grade. Let me go back to where we were. Okay, let me have the last chance with Hector's material. Okay, let me unshare first and then let's start with that one. Okay, where am I? Hector's video. Ya lo abrí, ahora me voy aquí. Share screen. Share. There we go. This was for human body system.
This time we'll learn about the social practice of language, write notes to elaborate human body diagrams. The achievement is revise and understand information about the human body systems. This video was produced by the Technical Department of Secondary Education, English. The human body is actually an incredible combination of many different systems that work together to keep everything functioning correctly. For example, some systems handle food and energy, while others focus on taking in oxygen and moving it around the body. By learning about the different systems working inside the body, you can understand how everything works together to keep you healthy, growing, and strong. Some examples of the different body systems are the digestive system, the skeletal system, the circulatory system, the integumentary system, the respiratory system, the muscular system, the nervous system, or the immune system. Let's revise some information about some human body systems. Let's start with the digestive system. Its main function is the absorption of nutrients. The digestive system includes the oral cavity, esophagus, liver, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. Did you know that your body can move your food through the digestive system even while you are standing on your head? Next is the nervous system. Its main function is to control all other systems of the body. The nervous system is divided into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Did you know that there are more nerve cells in the human brain than there are stars in the Milky Way? Now we have the muscular system. The main function of the muscular system is movement. This body system includes voluntary, involuntary, and cardiac muscles. Did you know that the heart is the hardest working muscle in the body? It pumps 5 quarts of blood per minute and 2,000 gallons daily. Now we have the circulatory system. Its main function is to transport blood to every part of the body. This body system is made up of the heart.
Now, as you can see right there, teachers, this is okay. As you can see, teachers, in the PowerPoint presentations, the one that Hector made, there's a very good, I like the idea of putting, did you know, like interesting facts about the systems. And if you can reckon, what he talked about the system was very brief, the information, very to the point. It had the function and the elements that conform that system. So I think that's a plus, very brief for our students to understand. All right, let me continue sharing so we can go to another element of my talk, which is English is fun, which is the project, okay? The last topic we're gonna cover right now, okay? There we go. Okay, here we are. I put it on the slide, on the correct slide, but it came out like this. Bear with me a minute, please. It's like a review of what we already saw. Okay. So this is the project. It's called English is Fun. And if you see here in my camera, I have here the English is Fun. And it's, well, I put it on the, I pasted it together. This is for the student, but there's one for the teacher. Okay. So what is English is Fun? Let me tell you. English is Fun are ludic activities, okay? But why ludic activities? Tell me why ludic activities. Well, because ludic activities help you increase the students' engagement in the class. That's one reason. Another reason is because with games, we can make students not only talk in English, but use the language, which is the purpose of us teaching English, to use the language in a game. All right? There will be a sample. We're going to put them in red eyes as well. There will be 2 ludic activities per social practice of the language. That is, we have 10 social practices of the language during the year. Yes? and 2 activities, then we have 20 ludic activities per grade. Now, when? There's another question. When? You decide when it's appropriate to use the ludic activities. Remember that you're going to have, this is for the student, and then you have another part that is quite different from the student, that is similar to this, and this is for the teacher, because it gives more attention to what's the name of the activity, the aim, the school grade, the social learning environment, the social practice of the language, the materials, and the procedure. We took into account materials that are available to our students without going to the store or to the stationery store to buy things to get the activities, okay? So we took into account that into our mind when we made this about the ludic activities. So here you have some samples. I'm gonna show you some. So you decide when it's appropriate, okay? Now, how? How am I gonna use this? Well, because you're gonna have it in digital, you can use it in a digital form, in a synchronous class, or in a synchronous way. And if you are now, if within time we return to our schools in person to person, well, you can have them digital in your screen, okay? In your blackboard, in your intelligent blackboard, or you can use them in a printed way. Whatever you choose will be fine because it's according to your context, teacher. That's very important, okay? Now, another thing is that with these activities and all the things that our students are going to use with these activities and do, we can show them in the knowledge fair. There's gonna be three times during this year a knowledge fair. One will be on November the 3rd to the 5th. Another will be on March from the 1st to the 4th of March. And the last one, the last knowledge fair will be held from June 13th to June the 17th. So besides all the material that we and our students make, we can use this material from these ludic activities and show them in our knowledge fairs for our parents and for us teachers and for the administration of the school. Okay?
One question, is that material on the PAZ as well?
Excuse me?
The ludic activities, is it on the platform as well so we can download them?
Oh, yes, they're going to be, after we finish, we're going to upload them in Redice.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So here, this is, the blue thing is for the teachers, but it's set aside. The students don't have to know all of this, all right? And this is for our students. For example, look, our students will read this. English is fun, the social practice, and the instructions for them. Read the hints and guess what fairy tale's character it is. Draw the picture of the character next to the arrow. Materials, colored pencils, pen, and notebook. Or the paper, letter size paper. It has 4 legs. It has fur. It has big fangs. It ate a kind grandmother. It disguised as the grandmother. Who is the character? Tell me, teachers, who's the character?
The wolf.
Yeah, the big bad wolf. So the students first guess, they have to read the description, then they guess, and they draw the big bad wolf, all right? So that's one example of one of the ludic activities for our students in English is Fun. Let me put you another one. This is from 3rd grade, okay? This is for goods and services. The social practice of the languages understands and expresses information related to goods and services. The instructions, straight to the point for the students. Cut out the items and paste goods under goods and services under services. Materials, glue, scissors, goods and services worksheet, okay? So we have goods, services, and then the students is going to have this one, okay? And then they're gonna cut out and paste it in the correct column, if it's a good or a service. Afterwards, they are going to see this, okay? The student is going to read the complaint. These are the complaints. He is going to identify where the complaint took place. Then he is going to relate the complaint with a color, and finally the student is going to color the drawing.
Ok, esa es la 2. Vámonos con la 3. Ok, ahí está la 2.
Okay, so this is like 1. Your waiter brought me food after 2 hours. In what place can this complaint happen? In a library? In an airport? In a restaurant? The students
Ahí está
have
la
to
3.
think, okay? And etc. And afterwards, they put number 1, it happened on the restaurant. What is the color? Light blue. And all the number 1s they are going to color them with light blue. Okay, number 2, where did the complaint happen? In what place? They put the place, and then they have to color it with blue, and so on. And
la 4.
9:57 right now. I would like to give you thanks to stay safe and to take care. And I send you a big hug. And my condolences.
Ahí se ven juntas las 4 y las 5.
And my condolences if you have lost a loved one, a friend, an acquaintance with this COVID pandemic. I thank you a lot, and I hope to see you very soon.
Bye, teacher.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher.
Maestra, antes de que se retire una pregunta, el material de las diapositivas nos los van a repartir a los maestros.
El material
de las diapositivas nos van a hacer el favor.
Sí, claro, en verdad.
Gracias.
La maestra, la doctora Rivas, jefa de nuestro departamento, desea palabras finales. Gracias.
Waiting for the exposition. Thank you very much. See you.
Dejar de compartir, hija, la pantalla. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, maestros. Todos, maestros y maestras de la asignatura de inglés y todos los demás que se pudieron conectar a esta extraordinaria asesoría que han dado los maestros que forman la Academia de Inglés. Agradecemos muchísimo que hayan permanecido conectados. Estuvieron conectados 213 docentes de la asignatura de inglés, puros presidentes de Academia de Zona. Pues les damos las gracias. El material va a estar a su disposición.
Nos mandaron a todos.
Y no me queda más que agradecerles, saludarles con mucho afecto y decirles que Ezequiel Rodríguez Calderón ha estado siguiendo toda esta asesoría en su dirección directamente y conoce de su creatividad, su desempeño y su organización en esta asignatura. Muchísimas gracias y recuerden que continuamos con la asignatura de español. Son los presidentes de Academia de Zona de Español. Agradezco infinitamente a la maestra Esther Noemí Medellín Guerrero, a la maestra Chávez Palacios, al maestro Héctor Villegas Jiménez y a la maestra Bertalicia Guerrero Sáenz, que forman la Academia de Inglés. Agradezco todo su apoyo y su disposición por haber desarrollado esta asignatura. Que tengan muy buenos días y comuníquenle a sus compañeros
Saludos,
de las demás academias que vamos a estar siguiendo el evento correspondiente durante todo este periodo del 13 al 23 de septiembre. Pues feliz
Maestra, ¿por dónde dijo que iba a estar disponible la información? Es que en ese momento
recuerden que las claves de los exámenes diagnósticos están con la supervisión. Ellos directamente se coordinan con ustedes para efecto de compartirlos, ¿verdad? Y de conocerlos. Pues muchísimas gracias a todos. Les saludo con afecto y goodbye. Goodbye a todos. Cuídense mucho.
Gracias a todos, departamento y todos.
Goodbye, bye,
Carlos.
Bye, bye.
Bye.
Bye, gracias.
Thank you very much.